Hook. Have you ever met someone so entitled that they thought they owned everything around them, including you? Well, let me tell you about the day my so-called neighbor, a woman who proudly called herself the queen of the HOA, decided to declare war on me. She didn't know one very important thing though. While she thought she had the power to ruin me, I was the one holding the real keys to her future. The lake community was supposed to be peaceful. I had bought the little cabin by the water because I wanted quiet mornings, fishing rods, and the sound of nature instead of car horns. What I didn't expect was that my biggest obstacle wouldn't be a storm or broken dock, but a woman named Karen. Karen wasn't just a regular neighbor. She was the self-appointed enforcer of a homeowners association that I never agreed to join. The first day I moved in, she stormed up to my front porch with a clipboard in one hand and a fake smile plastered across her face. "Welcome to the neighborhood," she said, her tone laced with condescension. "Now, here's your HOA agreement. Fees are $300 a month, and of course, I'll need you to repaint your cabin to match our approved colors. Oh, and no fishing on the north side of the lake. That's HOA reserved." I stared at her like she was joking. "I'm sorry, I didn't join any HOA." Her smile dropped faster than a rock in water. "Oh, honey, everyone around the lake is part of my HOA." Something about the way she said made my stomach turn. "With all due respect, Karen, I bought this property outright. Nowhere in my deed does it mention an HOA. So, no thank you." You would have thought I had insulted her family name. She gasped, clutched her pearls, and stormed off like I had committed treason. That was the beginning of the war. The next few weeks were filled with petty harassment. Karen would leave nasty notes on my door: "Paint your house or pay the fine." She'd report me to the county for illegal dot building when I was just fixing a loose board. She even had the audacity to stand on my property line, arms crossed, watching me fish, muttering under her breath about non-compliant behavior. But the day she called the cops, that was when things truly exploded. It was a sunny Saturday. I had some friends over, grilling by the lake. Music was playing, kids were laughing, and for once, I felt like life was good. Then the squad car pulled up. "Sir," the officer said, walking over, "we got a call from the HOA president. She claims you're trespassing on private HOA property." I nearly dropped my spatula. "Trespassing? Officer, this is my property. Here's the deed." Before he could respond, Karen came striding over, heels clicking against the dock, voice sharp as glass. "Arrest him. He refuses to pay dues. He's violating HOA rules, and now he's throwing illegal parties on our lakefront." Everyone froze. My friends were stunned. The officer looked between us, clearly realizing he'd been dragged into some neighborhood drama. "Ma'am," he said carefully, "this deed shows he owns the property free and clear. Unless you can provide evidence otherwise, there's no crime here." Karen's face turned red, veins popping at her temples. "This is my HOA. He can't ignore me. I'll take him to court if I have to." The officer sighed, gave me a sympathetic nod, and left. My friends whispered, "Man, she's unhinged." What Karen didn't know, what she couldn't even begin to imagine, was that her reign of power was about to crumble. Because while she thought she had authority over me, she didn't realize who truly held authority over her. A month after the police incident, I received a letter in the mail. It wasn't from Karen, it was from my property manager. See, what Karen had never bothered to figure out was that not only did I own my cabin, I also happened to own several homes in the area. I kept it quiet, never flashing it around, because I liked living simply. But then my manager's note made me laugh out loud. "Tenant in 214, Lakeview Lane has requested plumbing repairs. Please approve." Guess whose address that was? Karen's. Yes, the same Karen who had spent weeks tormenting me was actually my tenant. She didn't own her lakefront house, she rented it. From me. I couldn't make this up if I tried. The next time Karen marched over, clipboard in hand, threatening me with fines, I let her finish her dramatic speech before I smiled and said, "Karen, do you pay your rent on time?" She blinked, confused. "What are you talking about?" 214, Lakeview Lane. That's your house, isn't it? Well, technically, it's mine. You're living in my property. So before you keep threatening me with your made-up HOA, maybe remember who your landlord is. Her face went pale. She stuttered, her voice suddenly soft for the first time ever. That's impossible. I. From that day on, Karen's entire demeanor changed. Gone were the nasty notes, the HOA threats, the pearl-clutching dramatics. Instead, I got awkward waves, forced smiles, and even the occasional plate of cookies on my porch. But the truth was, I didn't want revenge. I could have evicted her, embarrassed her in front of the neighborhood, or told everyone about her fake HOA power trip. But I didn't. Instead, I let her stew in the quiet knowledge that her authority was nothing compared to the kindness and patience I chose to extend. And here's the lesson I took away: real power doesn't come from controlling others, it comes from knowing you could hurt them, but choosing not to. I pulled out the rental agreement from my folder, her signature right there in ink. Looks pretty possible to me. Karen never called the cops on me again. She never mentioned her HOA rules again. And every time she looked at me, I could see it in her eyes, the reminder that sometimes, the person you underestimate the most is the one holding the keys to your future. Sparkle's inspiring ending for viewers. So if you've ever dealt with someone like Karen, remember, sometimes the best revenge isn't fighting back with anger. It's standing tall, knowing the truth, and letting life reveal who's really in control. Because in the end, entitlement will always collapse under the weight of reality.